everybody. It's Mark and
Sam
from Haunted Auckland. We thought we'd try something a little different. We wanted to do something a little special for our audience and have a bit of fun ourselves. I thought we'd do a little series, a random series of pretty relaxed, pretty casual clips that we put out there on YouTube for you. And basically we're going to sit in a pub, have a pint and chat about the paranormal. And it'll be completely unscripted, completely unplanned, completely off the cuff and improv, and you have no idea what we're going to talk about. So we'll just see where it goes, see where the series takes us, and we'll just add to it as we go. The idea is to basically talk with other researchers, maybe a few people that have had encounters, just general people in the field, other team members from Haunted Auckland as well. So yeah, we'll just see how this whole thing pans out. We're not promising anything, but yeah, it's all pretty relaxed and made up as we go along. So enjoy it for what it is. So cheers.
Cheers.
Sam? Cheers. Sam, my friend, what are you having to drink today?
I'm drinking just the standard Guinness.
The standard Guinness?
The staple.
Bloody nice.
Yep.
And I'm having a distinction ale, straight from the tap. It's very nice as well. Yeah, Sam, you've been in the team for quite a while now, one of the long stayers of the team. So yeah, what do you reckon? We've done hundreds and hundreds of investigations all over the country. Private investigations and you know, residential houses, to theatres, pubs, all sorts. What do you reckon's been your favourite so far?
There's definitely a few favourites. You know, there's honourable mentions like Napier Prison, of course.
Yes.
You know, I can finally live the rest of my life saying that I've spent the night in a prison cell, and I've investigated that one. And then there's the ongoing investigations at the school in Parnell. To me, that's quite important because we get to go over, and I don't think an investigation is necessarily a fair test if we just go there for a few hours each night, on one occasion. And with a prolonged investigation where we go on different nights, I think it's a fairer test for us. But definitely my favourite one, solo investigation at Puanui House. Puanui House is kind of dear to my heart growing up in Howard.
It's an amazing place. Amazing place.
There's enough stories about the place. There's a history about the place. And definitely being there on a solo investigation on your own, it's outside of being with a team. I mean, of course I love investigating with a team, but being on your own, you know, it's definitely you and no one else, and any other sounds or anything that happens within that house in the time that you're there, it's definitely questionable.
So that was the whole point of doing those Puanui ones. The Puanui House, for those that haven't been following it, the Puanui House, it's the old Puanui homestead, which used to be out in South Auckland, and then it was relocated to the Howard Historical Village, where it sits now. So we've been quite lucky to have unlimited access to that place. There are a lot of stories coming from it about a woman ascending the stairs and a woman sitting in the top bedroom and various other things. So we've been quite lucky to have access to that place. And I think we've all done solo overnight investigations. We've all spent time by ourselves recording and investigating, and we've all experienced things, which has been fantastic. Yeah, hopefully we experience some more in the future and we get to go back in there.
Yeah, it's definitely a place that deserves further investigation. Like I said about our investigations at the school, it's good that we get to go back to places more than once. And you know, often at times when we only get one chance to go to a certain place, it's like we can try certain things to a certain point in the limited time that we've got, but then if they don't work, you know, we always think on reflection, maybe we should have tried this. And when we've got more than one investigation at the same place, we can definitely go back and try those things out again.
And of course, you're never prepared though, are you? I mean, like, there have been times where, you know, you're set up in one area of the building to document something that happened on a previous investigation, and then something completely different would happen on another part of the building, and we would be completely caught out by it and not prepared with our equipment. So it's almost like they're toying with us. I don't know if that's a fair assumption, but it just feels that way, doesn't it? Sometimes it just feels like they know that we're there and they know how to hide from us. I don't know.
It's always when we're packing up our gear as well.
Always
when we're packing up our gear. Something will get thrown, or you'll hear a bang or a knock, or but definitely Puanui House would be my favourite.
Yeah. Great history on that place.
So I've got a question for you.
Yes.
A lot of these places that we go to, if they feature stairs or a second level, there's always a woman in white at the top of the stairs. Why is there always a woman in white at the top of the stairs?
Why not a man?
Why not a man?
Actually, no, there is Collier House. Collier House out in Winderholme has a history of a man on the top stairs, a man in a suit and a top hat standing at the top of the stairs. So there is one man there, but yeah, I don't know. It seems to be a common theme. Just a woman, usually in a white gown or something like that, just at the top of the stairs. I don't know what it is. I think Alberton also has a woman at the top of the stairs. And children climbing the stairs and playing upstairs, so it's something about stairs.
So is it something about the pattern, the shape of the stairs? Is that something within the recording? We're talking in terms of residual hauntings? Maybe something about the slope, the incline. Who knows?
You've been overthinking this.
I've been overthinking this.
I have no idea, but yeah, it's good solid theories there. I mean, it's nobody really knows. So it's about putting these theories into action, and I don't think there are any sort of bad ideas when it comes to paranormal research. Because, I mean, Puanui is a good case, an example. It's where do you start? I mean, okay, the stories start with a woman seen on the stairs, so you can deck the whole stairs up with cameras and motion sensors and all that, in the hopes of capturing a woman going upstairs. But
and as you say, we set all these cameras up on the stairs, and then something else happens in the kitchen or down another hallway.
The torch being thrown down the stairs. All these cameras set up, all the other areas except for that area. It's just, it's almost, I don't know, who knows.
Say we find undeniable evidence of a ghost, then what? I know it's a hard question, but do we need to figure out the hows, the whens, the whys, the whos, in order to fully prove that the paranormal exists? Or do we have one of those questions answered and then answering the rest of them follow after that?
I think it's a personal decision. It depends on how far you want to take your research and how far you want to take your proof. Are you in this to prove this to yourself? Are you in this to prove it to the world? Are you in it to just experience things for yourself? For those that have experienced things firsthand, they know 100% that they experienced that thing, and they're sold on the idea. So it's the same with Bigfoot encounters. Those that have encountered Bigfoot at close range, they know what they saw. They know, and there isn't any changing that. So for them, having empirical evidence to hand over to science doesn't really mean anything, because science we usually reject it anyway. But for me personally, I'm in it to experience it for myself. If I'm able to document it, well then sure, I'll share it with the world. If the world chooses to reject my footage, that's up to them. Sometimes that's all you've got, and so you just,
you're not going to convince everybody, are you?
No, you're not, and I don't believe...
I think that's why there hasn't been 100% undeniable proof, because there's always going to be someone that turns around and says, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can go back and look at what we learned in our intermediate science fairs. You know, you go through the methods of finding your hypothesis, making sure it's a fair test, coming to your conclusions and reporting your data. As long as we can do these things, we can cover our tracks, and then we can go back to the beginning and see, well, hey, you know, we can add to this research if we come to some sort of conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how many photographs you take, it doesn't matter how much footage you have, even if you have data to back up the footage, it's still going to be scoffed at, it's still going to be rejected, because it's never going to be enough.
But of course, if you don't go out looking and you don't do your own research, you're never going to find the answers out for yourself, are you?
That's right. You've got to go. You've got to go to where the ghost stories are. I mean, if sightings are happening in a place, for example, this pub here, I mean, I haven't heard of any ghost stories here, but you've got to go to where the stories are. And if a woman is seen often ascending stairs by numerous people at numerous times, then there's got to be something in it. So you've got to look into it. You can't just sit on your computer and reject or accept the paranormal. It's a bit blind to do that, it's a bit lazy to do so. I believe if you want to find the true answers, you have to really go out and look and read and research. And only then will you sort of start to piece a few pieces together of the jigsaw. It's important.
So what do you say to people who say that that we're wasting our time doing paranormal research and that ghosts don't exist? What do you?
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, I mean, they've really got to put themselves in my shoes. I mean, I've spent 40 odd years doing this, and not just reading books and sitting on the internet, but actually going out to locations and sitting by myself in houses and buildings and allegedly haunted locations. And while I haven't really experienced a hell of a lot myself, I've seen enough to know that there is definitely something in it. I started off quite sceptical, and I still am quite sceptical, but only sceptical of certain cases. There'll be certain individual cases that I have become more and more sceptical of. That perhaps it's just an advertising gimmick, perhaps it's just misidentification, perhaps it's just an urban legend that's sort of gone out of control and exploded into something that it isn't really. So,
especially in this day and age of the internet, there's a lot of attention grabbing as well.
There is.
There's a lot of I'm going to get more likes if I make up this story. People are going to know who I am if I say that I captured an apparition in the background of my photo. It's definitely something that you see more and more of, especially in this day and age as well. A lot of things can be faked in film footage, and that editing software and digital effects are more readily available to the average person at home doing these sorts of things. So it does make our job as serious researchers a lot harder in order to debunk anything that comes our way. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, again, it's an individual thing. I mean, I've been told by many people that I'm deluded, that I'm wasting my time, that I should give up, and it's quite unusual. I mean, a lot of the emails I do get, or the Facebook messages I do get, they're quite aggressive. A lot of them are quite aggressive. The skeptics can be a very aggressive bunch in telling me that I'm wasting my time, that I should stop doing what I'm doing. I'm wasting my time. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I have to ask, why? Why do I have to stop? If I enjoy doing it, why do I have to give it up? Why are they so concerned about me doing this research? I have to sort of ask their agenda for asking such a thing, and for saying such things. I mean, why? Why are they so concerned about me having a hobby that I enjoy doing, whether they believe it or not?
Well, the other question that I have is, would they say it to your face?
Possibly not.
Or is it just because they're behind a keyboard saying, yeah, no, don't do that?
Yeah, nobody's ever said it to my face, really. Not really, no. Only jokingly, I guess, but yeah. I really don't understand that kind of mentality.
I'm more than happy for people to not believe. That's their issue, but then push their opinions onto others. I mean, I think as paranormal researchers in Haunted Auckland, we don't push our agenda onto anybody. If people want to follow us in what we do, that's fine. I think we're more of a team about educating rather than saying ghosts exist necessarily.
That's exactly right.
We're more about, hey, what about this possibility or that possibility? Think about your variables first. And you know, then when you get to those certain moments of, hey, I can't explain that makes it even more special, personally, to me.
Yes. Listen to those that are in the field that are doing the research. And if you ask the question, if you're posting a photograph and you're saying, I've captured this, what does everybody think? Well, then listen to the explanations, whether they are for or against what you think it is. Just listen and absorb it all, because that's how, as researchers, that's what we do as well. We absorb all the information we get from going out in the field, from reading books, from reading articles, from listening to lectures and documentaries. That's how we get our information as well. But we're also actually physically out in the field, being amongst it all physically. So it's a deeper element to it. So it makes it more. Words have gone. Good.
Better.
See, it's not scripted.
Yeah.
See, we're lying.
And I don't think there's any harm in being wrong either. You know, it's all a learning process. As we mentioned before, it's not an exact science. So, you know, one's opinion can be one's opinion, and you know, I've lost words as well now.
It's the brew. It's the Guinness.
It's going to our heads.
I don't know how the series is going to end up in the end with this drinking.
I'll have another.
I can see it fizzling rather fast. But yeah, for those that have asked, you know, we do get a lot of people asking, how do we become a paranormal investigator? You know, how do we get into this field? And all we can say is pretty much, you don't need to go to, you don't need to have any paranormal education. You don't need to go to a special school or do any special courses. I personally was never very good. I was never very good at school. I was hopeless at maths. You know, I was good at English and art, but good at biology, but hopeless at everything else. And I certainly don't class myself as a very technically minded person. I still have problems with my phone, and you know, I'm certainly no genius. And
definitely not.
No, I'm certainly no genius. I'm just a simple man.
Yeah, the simple needs and simple wants.
That's right. But we're doing it, you know, and I think you end up becoming quite knowledgeable from just experience alone, because you've been there and you've done it, you know, and just travelling the world and experiencing places and talking to other researchers as well, soaking up that information and just reading over it. So it definitely does help. So if you want to get into this field, do it. You know, we can't stress it up. The field does need more ears and eyes out there on these buildings and these locations, so definitely do go out and definitely have a go at it. Take the camera out, take an audio recorder, take a video camera, take whatever you've got, whatever you can afford. You don't need much equipment. I mean, for me personally, my video camera is probably the best equipment that I would use, because
I'd second that.
Yeah, because it records video as well as audio. So you've got the two there. You've captured the surrounding scene, and you've got all the sounds that around it. So you're capturing possible EVP, electronic voice phenomena, on your video camera as well. So it's less equipment, and it's easy to carry around. So keep it simple, and just write things down. It's very important. Keep notes of everything that happens, times, dates, log everything, and that's pretty much where you need to start. So keep it simple, and let us know how you go too.
And that comes on to another question for you. What do you prefer? Do you prefer, when you're going on an investigation, is it important to have a lot of gadgets, or is it more important to perhaps, I mean, we've already made it clear that we like using the video camera, but would you rather use just trigger objects in a video camera, or would you use gadgets, or what do you think is more important?
I've never really been a gadget guy. I mean, I've tried pretty much every gadget that's out there, and I've found that they just don't really work. A lot of them are just very, I don't know, they're just very gimmicky. And because nobody really knows what ghosts are made of, we can't really create a gadget that can actually detect or measure or capture a ghost. So it's basically all we've got to work on is theories. So it's a matter of choosing a theory, finding a theory that fits with your own thought process, and just going with it. I mean, for me personally, I've always liked the theory that ghosts are made of energy, some sort of energy, and that they perhaps absorb energy to manifest, but they initially are actually created or are made of energy, of some energy, and I don't know what sort of energy, but that's a theory that I've always been sort of into ever since I was a kid. And I've always liked the idea of magnetic energy being one of them, mainly because of the Earth's magnetism and the drawing upon that. It's kind of a natural energy, and it's all around us. And I've kind of liked the idea that if the ghosts, whatever they are made of some type of energy and are able to absorb some sort of energy, well, the most readily available energy on this planet would be magnetism.
Definitely.
So I work on that theory personally. I don't know about the rest of the people in the team. But
personally, for me, I think if you can see it, then it's obviously reflecting light. That's what we know in terms of science, right? If it makes a sound, it's another form of energy. If it moves something, then that's what? Kinetic energy, right?
Cold spots.
Cold spots.
When you feel a cold spot, that's heat being removed from the area.
Yep.
There's energy there. Heat is an energy.
So with that in mind, there are devices that we can use to detect that energy.
Yes.
Whether they work, or whether these energies that spirits or ghosts are, is that type of energy, or whether it's a different kind of energy entirely in itself, we don't know. But I think as long as we keep on experimenting, I guess, doing our research, investigating with these recording devices, we'll get a little bit closer.
Yeah.
And it's like we said before, it's all a trial and error thing. There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, and of course science is all about data as well. So the more data you have, the more chances you have of being accepted within the science world. But it depends on how far you want to take it. It depends on which direction you want to go with the paranormal. I mean, the paranormal field it's a huge field covering a lot of areas. So you can choose to just go one little focused direction, or actually you can take on the whole thing, the whole UFOs, ghosts, cryptozoology, the whole paranormal field, or else you can focus on one theory alone, which a lot of people do. So it depends on how far you want to take it, how much data you want to gather. Of course, the more video cameras you have, the more chance you've got of capturing more video. The more photos you take in your camera, the more chance you've got of capturing photographs. The more you audio record, of course, the more chance you've got of capturing some sort of anomalous sound. And of course, the more data logging gadgets that you have running at that investigation, the more chance you've got of sort of gathering data from the surrounding atmosphere or whatever.
But of course, you always got to bear in mind that just because something does happen, it doesn't mean that it's a ghost or it's paranormal. It just means that something reacted to your equipment.
Yes.
And you always got to be mindful of that as well.
Yes. But at least you're logging it. At least you're data logging it, and you're writing it down. It's all being written down, stored, and it's about accumulating all this data, all the imagery, the video, the audio, and eventually all these pieces start linking together and start meaning something.
It's kind of like what I asked earlier. It's like if you get a reaction to, say, an EMF meter, and that goes off. Okay, so we determine that something happened. And then we have to investigate further. Why did that happen?
Yes.
How did that happen? You search the area. Just like a detective would, you search for clues. And then you get to the bottom of it. If you can successfully go around the area and find no explainable explanation as to why that meter went off, it still doesn't mean that it's a ghost, but it means that it's definitely questionable and it's something to hold on to. You can say that happened and I don't know why, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. I mean, I've been saying I don't know since I was a child, and it hasn't hurt me. It's
it keeps us asking more questions, doesn't it?
and it's a mystery as well. It's as you say, it's detective work, and who likes it? Who doesn't like a good mystery? It's a real Scooby-Doo thing, There's this mystery that you've got to solve, and it may take one session. It may take many years of looking and still not achieving anything. But it's that hunt. It's that the mystery of all of it. And for me personally, I mean, I don't know. I'd be quite sad to find out that if ghosts are real. After a while, I mean, it's quite sad because the mystery's over. It's been solved. Yes, ghosts are real. That's it. And once we've found that they're real and it's all been well documented and it's everywhere and it's less of a thrill and it's no more a mystery and it's what else are you going to do?
I agree to a certain extent. If you find out the ghosts are real, then I guess the next question is, how do you recreate it? How do you create an environment where it happens all the time, where someone can experience it, so we can study it further? At the moment, you have a lot of anecdotal stories where ghosts appear out of nowhere at certain random times. So there's no time, there's no place, there's no situation. It just happens. So I think once, hypothetically, if ghosts are discovered to be real, that's the next question, is how do we recreate it?
Yeah, for me personally, again, I know that there's something in it, and I'd like to know that ghosts are real, and that it's not just a whole world full of deluded people, or that the whole world isn't lying or mistaken or just having some sort of mental disorder that's creating these worldwide phenomena. So I would personally like to know that they're real. I would like to think that they're real. But the next step from there, once we've determined that yes, they are real, if they are in fact real, is okay, what are they? Who are they? Where do they come from? And then find out the other details, like what do they live on? Do they eat? All those little interesting little tidbits of trivia that you want to find out about these people. Who were they? What did they do? And then, of course, is this occurrence? Is it residual? Is it a residual occurrence, or is this being an actual intelligent being that is interacting with you? In real time. I mean, is this possible? Does that make it another interdimensional thing, or is this, what are they? What are they? I mean, there are so many questions. So finding out if they do exist is the first question. Do they exist? Yes or no? Once we've determined yes, they do exist, then it's about asking the other questions that surround all that, which is about 1,001 other questions. But the main question is, do they exist? Yes or no?
It's kind of like cutting off the head of Hydra, isn't it? It's like for one question that's answered, another 2 or 3 answers, questions come up that can't be answered.
Yeah.
And that's why, as we say, people have been doing it for hundreds of years. Ghost stories span back many hundreds of years more, and it still seems as though we're at the same place, where you're divided. You either believe or you don't.
Yeah.
But I think, as we said earlier, if you keep on looking, then you're going to get closer. Whether it's personally within yourself, or whether you can actually find that evidence and produce it to the world.
This is true. This is true.
So we were at the lake house in Takapuna last Friday. Seems like a long time ago, but it was only a week ago. Would you say it was a pretty quiet night?
It was a quiet night. I enjoyed it. The Lake House Arts Centre. Again, another apparently allegedly active place with a woman set up the stairs, and lots of shadows, lots of movement, lots of orbs filmed on the security cameras. But that's another episode. But it was an interesting place, fascinating place. We spent the whole night there. Very quiet. I think Sam had one little incident happen that was quite intriguing, actually.
Well, it definitely caught my attention. And I think if I thought that it was anything else, I probably wouldn't have thought otherwise. But it came when I'd set up my DSLR camera with an LED lamp in the top. So I always know when I put my camera and the lamp on, I secure it quite tightly. Because I don't want to lose it, I don't want to fall off, don't want to smash. These things are expensive when you're doing paranormal investigations. You don't want things to break. But of course, I was climbing up some stairs to go and sneak up on the girls and take a few photos of them while they weren't looking. And as I was climbing the stairs, the lamp, which was on full brightness, turned just like that towards to face me, and it wasn't on any angles. I wasn't tipping it, I wasn't shaking it, but it was just as if someone was in front of me and said, "I don't want that torch, shining on me." So it turned around just slowly like that and faced me. And I thought to myself, well, it didn't happen fast. It wasn't like it was loose where it would have where I would have been shaking it. It wasn't on the angle. The fastener wasn't loose at all. But the sensation was as if the LED lamp had caught on something. So as if you imagine those spinning doors at hotels, kind of like that. Where yes, it is on an axle, but it turned like someone was just, no thank you, turn it around. And I thought, well, that was a bit strange. So I turned it back, and of course, turning it back, it was still stiff. So I was shaking the camera, trying to recreate it. Nothing. The camera, the lamp wouldn't move at all. So I thought that was interesting, and told the rest of the team, and of course, Mark comes along to record it, and I'm shaking it, and it moves just slightly, and I was like, damn it. But I'm in two minds.
I remember your reaction at the time. It was obviously, you know your equipment. You know what your equipment does, what it's capable of. So it was obviously something completely odd to you at that time. Because I remember your reaction. You were taken by surprise.
It was enough to bring it up. It was enough to mention.
Right.
Normally, if it was loose and I knew it was loose, I'd say, oh, it was loose. But it wasn't.
And you know your equipment. You know what it's capable of. So it's it was obviously enough of a movement to shock you a bit.
And it just seemed so very deliberate, which is what took me by surprise. Just even if it was loose, I knew that it would swing quite fast, but it didn't. It was slow and deliberate, as in, like I said, don't shine that light at me, turn it round.
Yeah, well, we tried to recreate it, we couldn't. So
we could only get it to move slightly, and of course Murphy's Law, when we had the camera on me and I'm shaking it about, it does move slightly, of course, but not the full 180, the way it did. And unfortunately, when it did happen initially, I didn't have a camera on me, so
it would have been good if you had the camera running at the time. Oh, that would be good.
Yeah. But it's always when there's no cameras on that something does happen.
Exactly. It's frustrating, very frustrating.
But as far as I'm aware, that was the only sort of thing that happened during the night. And that's what makes me still question it. Still is like, you know, it might not necessarily have been paranormal, but it's worth mentioning either way.
It's worth documenting. You never know. You never know.
Especially when some of the staff at the lake house have mentioned feeling somewhat of a force field, and I mean, I wouldn't say it was a full body force field, it was just more on that LED lamp.
Was it on the stairs as well?
It was on the
Yeah.
not on the main stairs, but on
Yeah.
there was a second set of stairs where it happened. So, you know, it happened. I can't explain it. It's worth mentioning. So
Everything needs to be documented. Got to document everything. Okay, so we're going to shut down now and head home. It's been great having a bit of a sit and a brew with Sam here and having a bit of a chat. But if you like this episode, send us your comments, send us some feedback, and if you like it, say so. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about, what you'd like to see. As I said before, it's all pretty much random. It's unscripted, as you can tell, completely unplanned, off the cuff, completely improv, and that's pretty much who we are. That's how we do things. We just
the first episode is definitely always the foot in the door, isn't it?
It is.
It's the people watching that make this what this show is good. So definitely give it a like and a share if you like it, and tell us what you think in the comments.
Yeah, and if you have any questions you'd like answered, just throw them at us, and we'll try and put them in the next episode. But yeah, do let us know if we're wasting our time or whether we're doing something worthwhile. We're having fun anyway, it's something different, and a lot less formal than what we usually do. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on A Pint of Paranormal. See you. Bye.
Cheers.